Okay. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. I'm Lakia, but you can call me your accountability partner, podcast host, or community advocate. I'm the founder of Bombshell 1111 podcast, dedicated to mental health and uplifting the community. With a background in human services and criminal justice and a master's in mental health counseling, I spent over 28 plus years in mental health and social services. My passion lies in helping women embrace their authentic selves. Today, I am thrilled to welcome you to the Elevation Experience, a powerful summit where we will gather to elevate our mind, spirit, and communities through shared knowledge and connection. We've assembled an incredible lineup of speakers who are leaders in their fields, each offering unique insights into mental health, wellness, and personal growth. I'm honored to be your host, and I'm excited for this transformative discussions and connections we'll create together. So without further ado, let me introduce our first speaker. It is my pleasure to introduce Lisa, a dedicated psychology professor and author of an award-winning Let's Talk series. Lisa's passion from writing began at a young age, and she continues to inspire others through her work, particularly in autism awareness. Her latest book, Happy Thoughts Going into Aquarium, is a wonderful addition to her impactful series. Please welcome Lisa, you guys.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited to talk to you guys. I'm going to share my screen. It says screen sharing is disabled. Oh, there we go. I got it now. All right. Thank you so much. I'm here to talk about building resilience through reading. I'm a total bookworm myself, and I've been in the field of applied behavior analysis for over 10 years. So we're going to talk about the psychological benefits of reading. So there's cognitive development. It stimulates your brain function. It enhances your critical thinking, your problem solving, and your empathy. And those critical thinking and problem solving skills, those are foundational skills that we really need to be able to go through life as well. Regular reading has been linked to improved brain connectivity and improved vocabulary and comprehension. It allows you to read and work on pronouncing words you wouldn't typically come across in your everyday life. So it really helps kind of increase that vocabulary. It also helps your emotional intelligence, especially fiction, helps us understand and process emotions. We're going to see through characters these different emotions we may not typically experience. So we get to see how different characters go through it, how they react. We get to see the world from different perspectives. And we may use those perspectives and ways of handling situations in our own everyday life. Stories often mirror real life situations, and it provides insight into how somebody else is reacting to you as well. So, those are some of the psychological benefits, some different things. It's also stress reduction. Studies have shown that reading can reduce stress levels by 68%. I know for me, it's diving into a different world. I get to almost watch a movie through words and I get to escape from daily worries and it helps to relax. It helps you not think about what's going on and it gives you kind of this way of being someplace else. Can also improve sleep quality because it reduces stress and anxiety. So if you're in this story before you go to bed, you're not thinking about the day's worries. It quiets your mind, which is another amazing kind of benefit. There's therapeutic power of reading. It's called bibliotherapy, and it's the use of books as a therapeutic tool to help individuals deal with mental health issues. So we have a lot of self-help books out there, and there's also acceptance and commitment therapy, which is disguised as self-help books. But it's a really great way to learn different techniques to reduce anxiety, to increase self-confidence. So we can use books all these different ways that sometimes we don't normally think about. And they can be also self-guided or facilitated by a therapist. Therapists sometimes recommend different books to help with depression, anxiety, and trauma. Being a children's book author, I use my books as a learning tool. And being in that part of the world, there's a lot of incredible authors that I work with that also have these amazing books that help children understand grief, understand anxiety. So there's a really great way that we can use reading to our advantage, and it doesn't always have to be chapter or adult books. A lot of adults love my books, even though they're children books, because it helps to understand autism better. So there's a lot more to reading than what we might think of as adults. It can also act as an emotional release. Reading about characters who face and overcome challenges can provide emotional release and catharsis because you're relating to it. And that's the great thing, whether it's a children's book, middle grade, or adult, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, you're seeing characters go through something that you can relate to. And you may feel that if they can do it, I can do it. Or wait, I reacted this way and so is this character. And that's kind of releasing those feelings, letting you know, hey, it's okay the way you reacted. They can offer solutions and coping mechanisms. And that's the really great thing about a lot of books too, is that you can see and learn about something you didn't know about. If you're reading a middle grade book and it's nonfiction, you could be reading about somebody's life. An adult nonfiction book, there's a lot of memoirs out there, and you can read about these situations people went through and relate to them, which can be very therapeutic as well. It also can be inspiring and motivating. We just had the Olympics, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of amazing memoirs coming out of that are inspiring and motivating too. Books can offer hope and encouragement, essential for building resilience. That's one of the reasons I wrote the books that I do, because I want families to see their children can do it too. It's not just for children, it is also for adults because it's helping parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles realize that just because their child has a different way that they learn doesn't mean that they're limited. It's just we have to learn to adapt to them. Reading about real life stories of perseverance and success can motivate readers to overcome their own obstacles. If you have a favorite character that persevered and did this to get past something, it can motivate and inspire you to do that as well. Even if it is fiction and it's a character that's not real, that's totally okay. It's still going to inspire you to want to be the same and do that as well. And that's a really great thing through books. I keep talking about children's books, but it's really not just for children. I have a whole variety of cat books as well that it's encouraging people to see cats in a different view. And that's the great thing about this is that we learn so much. I work with so many different authors. One of my favorite authors I work with, she has a short story series that's an anthology. And that anthology, the proceeds go towards a nonprofit. So we're reading about real life stories, but what about those books that actually, because of where they're donated, because of the proceeds, those behind the scene things can also encourage us and motivate us. So I have a little book reflection exercise from The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. The passage is The Secret of Life, though is to fall 7 times and to get up 8 times. So if you want to take a second, let me share my Mentimeter screen and I'll put the link in the chat as well. That we have that. Where's the chat? Okay. So what does this passage make you feel? The secret of life, though, is to fall 7 times and to get up 8. So I'll put that back so you can see it and see. I know what this evokes out of me. You can put it in the chat. You can always unmic. You can do the Mentimeter. You can scan it. But it's a really powerful passage, something that I relate to very much because as human beings, there's yin and yang. There's always balance, up and down. Life is never going to stay one way. So it's amazing to kind of use books as that motivator and think about a quote or passage like this as a way to encourage us to keep going and push past whatever is hindering us right now, standing in our way, not going to stop us. Oh, we put in keep pushing. That is perfect. That is one of preserve. Absolutely. Because we want to make sure we preserve our way of feeling. We may be having fallen the seventh time, but what happens if we get up the eighth time? One of my other favorite quotes is, what if I fall? But darling, what if I fly? You never know. And that's the great thing. And that's why I really love that passage because even though you may have not fallen down seven times, that eighth time that you get up, you can have that breakthrough. And that's the beauty in reading about books. Look at the Olympics. Look at the incredible gymnastics teams that we have. They went through so much and they came back swinging. And that's the great thing about a passage like that. Because if you fall down, you can still get back up and come back swinging the same way they did. We have any more? I love this. Oh, push this back up. Always welcome to put in the chat. Thank you guys so much. So I have a little bit more. So this is just the role of different genres of mental health management. Fiction. It allows readers to escape into different worlds, providing a break from reality and reducing stress. I know for me, everyone asks me, what is your favorite type of book to read? And because I'm a children's book author, they always get surprised that I like reading supernatural and thrillers. But if you look at this, you can really tell that it allows me to escape into a different world. It enhances empathy and it allows me to see life from another person's perspective. We also have nonfiction, which is those self-help books, psychology books, those things that give us practical tools. We can relate to things in fiction, but when it comes to nonfiction, we're really able to kind of manage our mental health and learn tools we can use throughout the day. I'll go back and I'll check the Mentimeter before we're done too. You're still welcome to put more things in there. We can talk about that too. But that's the great thing about books is you've got these different genres that kind of evoke these different emotions, and you can read a different book every day, or you can read one book. I know this summer, I think I've read 3 books already. I'm almost done with my 4th one. And I love psychology books. I'm very into acceptance and commitment therapy and mindfulness. And, Stephen Hayes and Russ Harris, their books are amazing. And it's great because you can use those tools and nobody knows. And that's the great thing about psychology and self-help books. We also have biographies and memoirs, which are pretty incredible because we can use them as examples of resilience. We can read them when we're having a tough or a bad day, and it can push us to get back up and keep going and move forward. Whenever something's down, it's going to go back up. And having those biographies and memoirs are a really, really great way to kind of remind us of that. Our mind, our thoughts are what drive us every day. And sometimes we can get stuck in those. But if we read a book, we can kind of get out of that and have a more positive and better mindset and start moving forward because we're inspired. There's also fantasy and science fiction. Those stimulate your imagination and creativity. They also provide escape from the real world. But what if you could use a book to inspire you in your job? What if you're reading a fantasy book and all of a sudden you get an amazing idea that would help out with work? that's the incredible thing that people don't think about when it comes to books too. And I think the really amazing thing about today's world too is we don't just have written books. We have podcasts where they're read out loud to us. We have YouTube. We have Kindle where we can read it on our phones. We have audiobooks, so this is not just about physically reading words on a page. This is about having a book whatever way works best for you. With fantasy and science fiction, we can often explore themes of good versus evil, heroism, adventure, and those are more of those ideas about inspiring readers to face their challenges. Think about Disney movies. We've got a whole bunch of Disney movies coming out soon, but what is the central theme of every Disney movie? Overcoming a challenge. And that's the beauty in that, you know? There's also mysteries and thrillers. They engage the mind and keep readers hooked, and they offer a distraction from stress and anxiety. They provide a sense of closure and satisfaction when the mystery is solved, which can also be therapeutic. That great feeling, you get anxiety, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? I can't put this book down. And then you find out it provides a sense of closure. It's pretty amazing. So having books in whatever type of version that works for you, that's going to be some kind of a motivator, inspiration, and a way to relate, something that's really going to help you. Thank you guys. So in conclusion, reading is a powerful tool for building resilience. And I just want to keep reiterating that this isn't just about reading physical words. I've had 2-year-olds read my books because they like the illustrations. Reading comes in all different forms. We're very, very fortunate for that right now. And I really encourage you to find the form that works best for you because it enhances cognitive and emotional intelligence and provides therapeutic benefits as well. And these are the things we want to pass down to our kids. Even if our kid is into sports or dance, it doesn't want to read a physical book. What about a YouTube video where a book is being read to them? It plays a significant role in mental health management. And these are the tools we want to give our kids so that they grow up to be these amazing adults that can reach their potential. And books are one of those ways that they can do that. Just gonna go back to the Mentimeter really quick, see if anybody else went in. All right, then I am going to say thank you guys so, so very much. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Does anyone have any questions? If you do, you can jot those questions down in the chat for Lisa. Let's take a look over here. Thank you for that. And then Lisa, can you also just jot your social media handles in the chat as well?
Absolutely, I am doing that right now. And then, so Insta is books, and then TikTok is Lisa J. Author 18. Absolutely follow me. I have a brand new book coming out in 2 weeks, and I'm super, super excited. Illustrated by the incredible Brainstorm Productions. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Kiana and Sergio. Oh, the best way to do that, I would say through videos. How do you promote reading within a community that does not read or view reading as fundamental? I think the issue with reading too is the word. This is something that we've talked about in classes for my degree a lot. These specific words have meanings and we don't look outside it. So when we talk about reading, we think about a book, a physical thing that you have to read the words. But if that's something that a community or child is not interested in, I would say let's play a YouTube video. I have a bunch of authors, one of my good friends that not just me, but all kinds of books, all genres, chapter books too. She reads it on her podcast, and that's what it is people reading books. And I think that's an incredible way to start off and encourage and show a community. Um, Also, please give clever, inventive ways for parents to begin interacting or incorporating reading with children in our family activity. I think also another really great way is to look at the illustrations. One of my favorite things that I would do in early intervention or in-home ABA is be like, let's make up our own story. Look at that beautiful picture. What are they doing in that picture? I think it's making it interactive, making it fun, playing to what that child or that individual really likes. If you're playing Legos with them on the floor, why not put a podcast on and the book in the background being read to you instead of the TV in the background? You can do the same thing with YouTube videos. In early intervention with the one client I have, I open the book. It's like a Where's Waldo type book, so you find things. And I just go, wow, look at that shark. Look at that. Look at that dog. We have to be expressive. We have to be very into it. We have to emphasize. The child is not going to want to read unless we're enjoying it. So if we're enjoying it, they're going to want to come over and read. And I think it really starts with us. So I think it's like you put in clever, inventive ways. I think it's about getting creative. And I think these are really, really great questions as well. But that's what I would do. I would start with videos of books being read. Kiana. Exactly, agreed. Thank you, Kiana. And I think working in this field has really pushed me to be that way. And I love it because parents see that and then they start to do that. So I think sometimes we get so busy, we just don't always think to get creative. But if you can take just a minute or two just to pull up a book and be like, let's look up, the illustrations, make our own story, or even while you're cooking, put the book on in the background on the podcast so it's read to you, or it's on the TV being read to you from YouTube. I think those are great ways to kind of get started and form that bond with reading, even though we're not technically reading the words, kind of look outside the word and think of those different kind of things. Great questions, guys. Thank you.
Any more questions before we go to our first transition break, you guys? Any more questions? Okay, so guys, we're going to go into our first transition break for about 5 minutes to give the next speaker enough time to prep for her presentation. We're going to do a little switcheroo. The next presenter has a much heavier topic. Ashmita, she's going to be talking about grief. So when we come back we're going to get going with Ashmita. So you guys are going to take a 5-minute break to transition, and you guys can turn your cameras off and we'll come back too. Thank you.